And now, here's Dr. Mike.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow is a very big day in America. Very big day. I don't have to remind you, I'm sure, that in this great country in which we live, we have both the right and the responsibility to determine who represents us in Washington, D.C. and other places. Now, I'll admit that it's becoming harder and harder for our voices to be heard. The wickedness in high places all across this land is rampant. The evil that's being manifested in every corner of America is making it extremely difficult for people like you and me to make our voices heard. However, let me say this to my many friends. The Lord has certainly placed many people in my life and Kathy's life, and we are grateful for all of you. But I want to say this and be clear. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans are going to deliver America or Americans from the hands of those that are hell-bent on destroying us. To my friends who have or will vote third party, God bless you and follow the dictates of your conscience. To my friends who have chosen not to vote at all, God bless you and follow the dictates of your conscience. To my many friends who have Jesus 2020 yard signs prominently displayed, Jesus is not on the ballot, but I agree with your sentiments. To those who have become so cynical on one end of the spectrum, or too holy to dirty your hands on the other end of the spectrum, it is our duty, it is our responsibility as citizens of America participating in a Republican form of government to exercise that right. Wickedness and evildoers count on people refusing to participate because that greatly reduces the numbers that will oppose them. I ran across an alarming statistic recently that noted that each election cycle, and they were talking about presidential election cycles, so every 4 years, that upwards of 30 million individuals who profess Christianity, profess to be evangelical Christians, 30 million don't vote for various reasons. And my question to you, if that applies to you, is what would happen in America if 30 million professing Christians would vote? Do you understand that our nation would look a lot different? Much different, I might suggest. There's never been a perfect candidate, folks. Never. Not in the history of our nation. And there's not going to be any perfect candidates, in my view. But the reason that there aren't any perfect candidates, well, it might surprise you. In my estimation, the reason that there aren't any perfect candidates is because we, the people, refuse to hold those who are elected to represent us, whether it's in the palaces of our state capitals or the quagmire, the cesspool that has become Washington, D.C. We refuse to hold them accountable, to hold their feet to the fire, so to speak. We, the people, have allowed this leviathan that is Washington, D.C., to become this beast system that has arisen over time. It's really an oligarchy. It's a new political aristocracy, the very thing that our founding fathers developed a system of government to prevent. In fact, they said if the citizenry ever becomes disconnected from the political process, that political process will turn into a system and it will overwhelm we the people. And we've seen that happen today. There are a few godly men and women that are involved daily. It is their work, their vocation, working in our governments, whether state level, local level, or even the federal government. Many godly men and women every day trying to do the right thing. And I wonder sometimes what those brothers and sisters that are working in our various levels of government might think when they hear people say, I'm not voting, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to them. And I would advocate that it should matter to us. Should we give up? Concede? The darkness is too strong and powerful for the light? We would never make that concession in any other context. Why would we do so in a nation that provides such religious liberty and civic freedom? Even though those things are under attack today at all levels, why would we give up? Why would we concede the high moral ground and retreat from the political realm? Now, some of you listening may be saying, well, I'm voting third party. Well, here's the problem with that. You can use it as a salve or a balm on your conscience. And again, God bless you, and vote according to the dictates of your conscience. I am not criticizing you at all, but I am offering this perspective. You are quick to point out that we are burdened by a two-party system. That is true. And that two-party system is going to prevail as long as we, the people, tolerate it. It's time for we, the people, to grab the reins of this nation and lead us out of this darkness and out of this bondage. And I want you to hear me clearly, friends. Politics alone will not save America. It simply will not. Politics without an informing and engaged church is why we are suffering right now. And many people will say, well, Mike, that's a little dramatic. We're not suffering right now. We are on the fringes of persecution like this nation has never seen. And if we continue to remain silent and do not push back, it is going to get worse. This is just the beginning. Watchmen on the wall will warn, will blow the trumpet, and will sound the alarm when the enemy is spotted. And I am here to tell you the enemy has been spotted. Politics has encroached upon our religious freedom, and step by step, brothers and sisters, we have refused to forcefully push back and make these wicked, evil people retreat, and we have failed to insist that the things that they have robbed us of, our freedoms and our liberties, be reinstated immediately. And that's why we have governors like Newsom in California, Whitmer in Michigan, and I'll be talking about her a little bit later. We've sat by. My generation has watched Bible reading, prayer in the schools biblical morality being taught in our schools. We've watched that be systematically removed, and we've done nothing. All of the government tyranny that we have seen at the federal and state level is because we have allowed these evil and wicked people to behave in unconstitutional ways without any consequence. So before I get started today, I want each of you to go to the organizational websites that I'm going to show you. Do it after the show, please. But write these websites down. I want you to go there, study the material, research it on your own, download the free information, ebooks, articles, giving great detail and encouragement and hope. And Kathy, we're going to go to Tactical Civics first. Tactical Civics. You can sign up there to support that. You can sign up for newsletters. You can drop them a line, email them, let them know that you heard about them on the Dr. Mike Live show, but also that you're behind the effort and what they are trying to do. So Tactical Civics, we want to go there first, Kathy. And you can go to Learn, the Learn tab, and then to ebooks and newsletters. And there you will see a long list of information that is available for you to download. There is part of the mission, folks. You understand that part of what we need to do is that we need to call Congress home. There is a manner in which we can do this constitutionally. And Kathy, if you'll scroll down through there, you'll see all of the detailed plans to overturn what has happened to us as Americans. Now, Kathy, I think you're on the America Again website. Is that true? Okay, I want you to go to Tactical Civics. Okay, there it is, right there. So there's your note. Stay right there. Yeah. There are all sorts of free resources for you folks right there. Okay. And then America Again, you were already there, so I don't think we can go back there again, Kathy. Thank you. So America Again, if you go to the About section and then scroll down. Nope, America Again, go to About. Yep. And hit scroll down. So hit About. There you go. And then scroll down. So that gives you all the information there. Enforcing a constitutionally required limited government, folks. I don't know anybody in my circle of friends that is advocating for bigger government, more encroachment upon our freedoms, and more big brother looking over our shoulder. Everybody that I know wants smaller government, a more accountable government. Well, there's a way to go about that constitutionally. And we can do this together. So if you're interested in organizing a constitutional group in your area, then please email Tactical Civics and or America Again via their website. All right. Okay. Now, let's talk about some news, what's going on around America today. And man, oh man, oh man. Folks, people have lost their minds. They have lost their minds. Rational thought is out the window. And the wicked and evil people in our midst, they're counting on folks giving up hope. They're counting on folks just going by emotion. How many of you understand that you cannot live your life by your emotion? If you allow emotion to rule your life's going to be a train wreck. You're going to jump here, there, everywhere, constantly. And you'll never have any anchor, no foundation. Jesus sure didn't instruct us to allow our emotion to dictate to our minds. We have to know what we know and be fully convinced of what is the right thing to do. So starting with the CDC, Kathy, let's go to CDC planning concentration camps. See, you heard me right. CDC planning concentration camps. This is from John Rappaport's blog. Now, if you don't subscribe to John's blog, I would encourage you to do that. He writes almost every day, that the CDC planning concentration camps. The CDC document there, and he shows you right there, it's titled Interim Operational Considerations for Implementing the Shielding Approach to Prevent COVID-19 Infections in Humanitarian Settings. How's that for a bunch of gobbledygook? Which basically says, and you can read it there, folks, the CDC, yes, Kathy is highlighting it there. That's the document title. So look at the quotes, scroll on down, Kathy, to just below "This is America." And here are the quotes from the CDC's article. And the print is too small for me to read. But basically what it says there, folks, is that the plan is already put in place to put people in concentration camps. You can call them FEMA camps. You can call them whatever you want to. But they're going to separate people. They are going to forcibly remove people from their homes, all in the name of, you ready for this? Safety. Science says they should do this. You know, Pat Wood has been sounding the alarm for a couple of decades now about technocracy. Technocracy, if you haven't studied and researched that, I encourage you to do that. Technocracy, folks, is the dictatorial, tyrannical rule by quote unquote experts, engineers, and scientific experts. They will decide for us what is best for us. And I want to come back to that a little later in the show, because there's a lot going on with the United Nations, as always. You have to keep your eye on those Luciferians. But the CDC is up to no good, folks. This whole thing, that you can call it whatever you want. Pandemic, plandemic, scamdemic. It's becoming very, very clear to me that what is happening is what has been planned for a long, long time. Kathy, let's go to that Highwire article. Mandatory COVID camps already beginning. Now, if we have anyone that has joined us internationally, then you know this is true in your nation. I was reading through this article today. It's already happening in Australia and some other places. Mandatory COVID camps already in place. And this is, again, highwire.com, thehighwire.com. You can go there and read this for yourself, view the video that's on there. This is all part of the contact tracing. Even Ohio is doing this. Some are being more draconian about it than others. But this contact tracing, folks, in my view, is both criminal and it's certainly evil. Just today, in fact, I saw that Michigan Governor Whitmore is telling restaurants, bars, and social gatherings outside of private homes that they must obtain all of their patrons' information, including name and phone number, date and time of entry into that establishment. Now, the reasoning for that, as stated in the article that I read, the Michigan Department of Health was to aid in contact tracing and case investigation efforts. So you can read that within the context in which it is meant, and that is they are going to forcibly remove you from your home, and they are going to put you someplace for your own safety and the safety of everyone else in the community. Folks, stop going and getting tested. What is wrong with you? They're doing these things to jack up the numbers, to legitimize their lockdowns. It's coming again, and you're willingly participating in the ruse. Stop it. In Michigan, and I have a lot of friends in Michigan, they are sick and tired of being sick and tired of this wicked woman that somehow managed to get herself elected. They are targeting these people. Folks, if you don't realize by now that this Chinese Wuhan virus testing is a sham, I don't know what to do for you. I don't know what to do for you. As further evidence of the truth of that statement, that this whole thing is a scam. Kathy, let's go to the COVID-19 being used as an excuse for global reset. Global reset. COVID-19 being used as an excuse for a global reset. Have you heard about this? The Great Reset? The Great Reset that's on its way? Well, there you have it. This is from weforum.org, the Great Reset. Now, if you scroll down there, Kathy, to where it says the context and the opportunity, context and the opportunity. And again, that is really small print for me to try and read, but you can read there. What they're talking about, folks, is that they are going to use this because it is overwhelming the world, and leaders are coming together. Now, I want you to understand something. Global leaders, it's always this very innocuous, superfluous, you can't identify them. It's just unnamed. Global leaders, they've decided for the other 9 billion people on the planet that we need to reset, completely tear down the financial structures. The banksters, in other words, want to try and figure out the next scam to rob the world's people of its wealth. That's exactly what's going on. But they're using, you see this, the opportunity. They're using COVID as an opportunity to reset globally. You know what they want to do? People have been talking about this for a long time. They want to go to some type of energy-based, carbon usage-based economic system. And what that means, and you can research this on your own, folks, but what that means is they want to enslave every one of us. They want to decide how much energy, what type of energy, and how much we can use. That's what they want to do. Research it for yourself. Now, if you look under the About header there on that page, Kathy, if there's an About tab there. Okay. Well, somewhere on there, there's an About, and it presents you, there you go, more about the Great Reset. It presents you an outline of what they're planning to do. It's a commitment to jointly and urgently build the foundations of our economic and social system for a more fair, sustainable, and resilient future. And it requires a new social contract centered on human dignity, social justice, and where societal progress does not fall behind economic development. Folks, it's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. Now, you can do your own research. You can begin with United Nations Agenda 21. that's morphed into Agenda 2030 and now Vision 2050, because the globalists have already decided what plans they are going to institute. It is amazing the things that are going on that nobody's reporting. Well, the mainstream media is not reporting. But you know why that is, right? Mainstream media is not going to report it because they're part of the scam. They're only going to report what their corporate masters want them to report. Now, meanwhile, Joe Biden, many of you have seen this, I'm sure. Joe Biden created a video appealing to Muslims, and he made sure that it only aired in markets with a high Muslim and also distributed through mosques and other places. He created this video appealing directly to Muslims. And Kathy, if you have that, I'd like to play that. It's a very short clip. It's only about a minute something. There you have it right there. Let's listen. Yep.
Root here in terms of our fundamental basic beliefs. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, for being engaged, for committing to action this November. You're doing what's been that's never been done before. You're registering and turning out 1 million Muslim voters this November. It matters. Your voice is your vote. Your vote is your voice. Muslim Americans' voices matter. I don't have to tell any of you that this is the most important election in modern American history. Muslim communities were the first to feel Donald Trump's assault on Black and brown communities in this country with his vile Muslim ban. That fight was the opening barrage in what has been nearly 4 years of constant pressure and insults. I'll be a president who seeks out and listens to and incorporates the ideas and concerns of Muslim Americans on everyday issues that matter most to our communities. That will include having Muslim American voices as part of my administration. If I have the honor of being president, I will end the Muslim ban on day one. Day one. And I'm here today to ask you to join me in a fight to rip this poison from our government root and stem, or as the famous case said, root and branch, starting by making Donald Trump a one-term president this November. But I'm not just asking for your support because the alternative is unthinkable. I want to earn your vote, not just because he's not worthy of being president. I want to work in partnership with you to make sure your voices are included in the decision-making process as we work to rebuild our nation. We can't just build back to where we were before Donald Trump took office. We have to build back better.
Hi.
So I don't know if you had a chance to tally up all of the lies, all of the bald-faced, blatant lies in that 2-minute section of Biden's appeal to Muslims. But I gave him at least 6 Pinocchio awards there. Blatant, flat-out lies concerning what is happening. Everybody and their brother that's paying attention knows that the Obama administration had Muslim Brotherhood operatives as part of the government of the United States. You know, that's unconstitutional. That is illegal, and he did it anyway. Of course, Obama was illegal. The 8-year nightmare that was Obama was illegal, but that's a different story. Kathy, I don't know if you have a picture of the Muslim Brotherhood individuals in Obama's government or not that you can share. I sent it, but if you don't, that's fine. We will move on. Okay, great. So just in case you think this is all hyperbole, let me assure you that it isn't. Kathy will put that up there. This will be faces and names. So you can do your own research. Nope. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on. So there are multiple reports out now about technology being used to steal the election. This is something that's been done before, and what's new is that we're finding out that this technology, surprise, surprise, was developed for the CIA. Now, if you've read anything about DARPA, the Pentagon's brain, they rely heavily, the CIA, government institutions, organizations, departments rely heavily upon third-party vendors to develop the technology. They tell them what they want to do with it, and they develop it to do exactly that. Well, here's a report of technology being used to steal the election at the point of the voting machines. Kathy, this is distributednews.com. Dems collude with the CIA to launch intelligence operation that alters voting machines results in Pennsylvania and other swing states. So Dave Janda of Operation Freedom reported this earlier, this story, and it was on a broadcast that he had recently with a former high-level intelligence official, Lieutenant General Tom McInerney, who warned that the Democrats and the CIA have put in place a mechanism which can alter the voting results of electronic voting machines in key swing states like Pennsylvania that will determine the outcome of the election. Now, this covert technology is called Operation Scorecard. Remember that name. If you start searching for that and researching that, you're going to find a lot of stories now beginning to break about Scorecard. This technology, Operation Scorecard, is the CIA program, but Scorecard is the technology. It was built by the CIA to steal elections in foreign countries. Now, that should not be a surprise to anyone that the United States has blood on its hands. I've said that for years. The United States, the CIA, at the request and at the service of the corporatists and the bankers globally, corporatists mostly in America, bankers mostly in America, but banking is global and worldwide. You understand that. The CIA has deliberately toppled governments across this world. And guess what? Mr. Barry Soetoro was the kingpin of at least 7 or 8 governments being destroyed and toppled, with Muslim Brotherhood operatives being put in their place. That's right. The darling Manchurian candidate of the left, Barack Hussein Obama, his pseudonym, who knows what his real name is responsible for toppling foreign governments, for rigging elections and getting people in place that he wanted, the CIA wanted, and the corporate oligarchists wanted. So this article details that Operation Scorecard. It's just an amazing, and when you think about this information now being divulged and revealed, folks, it's interesting to me. Thank you, Kathy. It's interesting to me that Joe Biden has been telling people recently at his very small rallies, by the way, that he didn't need their vote. Can you imagine that? Someone on the campaign trail telling people he didn't need their vote to become president. And I wonder if this doesn't explain why Nancy Pelosi recently said that Biden, he's going to win no matter what the votes say on November 3rd. Well, I wonder why she would say that. The deep state, folks, has a plan in place to steal this election by altering votes in key swing states using this technology, Scorecard, that actually has developed algorithms so that when these, and that's also why, by the way, you know that the Washington Post excoriated Trump recently when his campaign asked officials in Pennsylvania, I believe it was in Pennsylvania, the Trump campaign asked officials in Cumberland County for the names of people who were transporting the voting machines, the ballots and the voting machines. Once the polls closed, they requested the names of the people who have access to the ballots afterwards and the precise locations where the ballots are being stored. And the Washington Post thought this was just egregious behavior. No, it isn't. When you know what the Trump administration, what every political operative knows in Washington, D.C., how wicked and evil these people are, and they will stop at nothing to destroy America. They don't care about you, Tom and Jane Doe. They could care less. They lust for power, and they don't care if it destroys lives. This whole Chinese Wuhan coronavirus scam-demic should have proved that long ago. Here in Ohio, thousands of businesses will never reopen again because Governor Mike DeWine, this wicked miscreant, has allowed the Luciferians to keep Ohio in a very tenuous position with these idiotic mandates. It should make your blood boil, folks. Now, to corroborate all of this, the CIA operative, former CIA operative who developed the scorecard technology, former CIA operative, designed scorecard, confirms that this story is true. Kathy, that's the American report that you just had up. The CIA operative designed scorecard confirms election theft is in play. That is at the AmericanReport.org. You just had it up. So you can go there, folks, and look at that report, read that report, follow those links. Biden is using the scorecard and a strategy called the hammer to steal and another because Obama used it in the first place. In February 2009, the Obama administration commandeered a powerful supercomputer system known as the hammer. The hammer includes an exploited application known as scorecard that's capable of hacking into elections and stealing the vote, according to CIA contractor turned whistleblower Dennis Montgomery, who designed and built the hammer. The whistleblower tapes confidential audio recordings released by U.S. District Judge G. Murray Snow's courtroom in November 2015 revealed that scorecard was deployed by the Obama team against Florida election computers to steal the 2012 presidential election on behalf of President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden. Now, I would just say this. They didn't really need to steal it because the Republicans didn't make any effort to win that election. You cannot run Mitt Romney and John McCain and think that anybody with a brain would take that seriously, that you are actually trying to win. Amazing what goes on today in Washington, D.C. But this scorecard software technology is now being activated on behalf of Joe Biden. Biden utilized, this article goes on to say, Biden utilized the hammer and scorecard while running for vice president in 2012. Some suggest that it was even used in the past Democrat primary, because if the truth was known, and it is to many, Bernie Sanders should be today the Democrat nominee. So that's for your own further research and share that, folks. Anything that I'm sharing on here, I would encourage you to share it with your friends. It's too late anything about this current election, but who knows what tomorrow might bring. So, along this same vein about trying to steal votes, Florida officials exposed another ploy, another plot. I'm sorry for laughing, but the Democrats are notorious. And here's another example of registering dead voters. So, Florida officials uncover another scheme, and this was actually they're showing you a picture of voting. Someone turned in alleged votes, and they all turned out to be dead people. They were all dead people. It is absolutely astounding to me that this kind of thing is still done. Now, the Democracy Institute, Kathy, the next article, Breitbart reported this. The Democracy Institute, and I happen to agree with them on this. And in fact, I was having a conversation with someone recently, and they asked my opinion. Not that my opinion matters on it, but they wanted to know what I thought about the upcoming election. And I said, well, unless the greatest heist in the civilization and in the history of civilization is accomplished by the Democrats, it should be a landslide in favor of Trump. This should be a hands down, no contest, slap down like you've never seen, hearkening all the way back to the days of Reagan. The enthusiasm for Biden is nil. There's nothing there. The enthusiasm for Trump, it is unbelievable. It's hard to even estimate. And folks, I happen to believe that a lot of folks that are responding to these surveyists, if they're going to vote for Biden, or these polls, yeah, they're going to vote for Biden, I think they're lying through their teeth. I think there are a lot of people that are going to vote Trump that have never voted for a Republican in their life. But they're voting for a Republican this time. And I don't even know if I should slander Trump by calling him a Republican or not, because I've got a good many issues with most of the Republicans, because they're Republican in name only. So the Democracy Institute says it's going to be a landslide. Here's one of the reasons why. Kathy, let's go to the next Breitbart article that discusses Black support for President Trump. Black support for President Trump is at a record high. A record high. This article says that the Black vote is approximately 31%. Do you understand what that means? Trump, it was estimated that he got 7% of the Black vote last time. I think that's a lie. I think it was closer to 15%. But if it's at 31% or anywhere near that, this explains why the Dems are going all out trying to steal this election, because the gig is up. And I'm just going to say it. Blacks are waking up and they're leaving the Democrat plantation. They understand that the Democrat Party has done nothing to help them. They talk a good game, but the results are lacking. I like the lady that's running for Congress in Baltimore. She pulls no punches. She's got a great campaign video where she's walking down the streets of Baltimore, some of the worst poverty-stricken streets anywhere in America. Just in shambles. And she nails the Democratic leadership in the city of Baltimore. She tells them, this is what they've done for you. Nothing. They're not calling her on it because she's Black. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. Truth knows no color, folks. Speak the truth. These wicked, evil Democrats have gotten away with their nonsense for too many years because people have been afraid. Well, I can't say anything because that's about black people. Well, black people, I can't say anything because that's about nonsense. Truth is truth. We shouldn't be restricted because somebody happens to be of a different color skin. That's craziness. So let's tell people the truth. Democrats have done nothing for you, Black America. So that's a nice segue into Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is Jamaican. Stop calling her an African American. Stop using hyphenated anything. Kamala Harris, communist. She's come right out. She's just plain dropping all pretenses. And that's good because we've known for a long time. I've known for a long time. I've said it for years exactly what she is. She's a communist. And by the way, she is, in my opinion, the real candidate here. Because it isn't going to be Sleepy Joe or Sniffin' Joe or whatever, however you want to refer to him. It isn't going to be Joe. It'll be Harris and her handlers that'll be leading America. And in case you're wondering who Harris's handlers are, it's the communist Chinese. The Dems and Mueller and all of these knuckleheads have distracted America and wasted millions of dollars on a phony probe of the Russians. If there was any Russian collusion, it was between Russia and Hillary Clinton, who sold off our uranium resources. And the press covers it all. Well, there's coming a day of reckoning. So Harris is a communist Marxist Chinese agent, every bit as much as Senator Dianne Feinstein and Republican Susan Collins. Here's a story I found today that I thought was very interesting. This administration, this current administration, says that there is no international right to abortion. How about that? Another article from The Blaze. No international right to abortion. Family is fundamental. Family is fundamental. How about that? Family. A biological man married to a biological woman who have biological sons and daughters and or foster or adopted. That's the family. You don't get to redefine and make up family any way that you want to. So the Trump administration, that was Secretary Pompeo there, signed on with over 30 other nations saying that abortion is not an international right, some kind of human right. How in the world can you argue for a human right that destroys human life? That's the most idiotic, perverted, Luciferian nonsense. Obama and the Dems, what do? Andrew Cuomo, other governors, other Dem governors, Pritzker in Illinois, they signed legislation to murder preborn human beings up to the moment of birth. And if this baby miraculously survives a murder attempt on its life, they'll murder it outside the womb. So here you got an administration that's signing on and supporting, let's stop abortion. It's not an international right. It's not a human right. And then you got the Dems who want to kill preborn human beings up till the moment of birth. And then if they survive it, well, let's finish them off. Christian, I'm going to tell you something very clearly. If that doesn't sting your conscience and you're voting Democrat, there's something wrong with you. By the way, I saw today where Tim Keller and Mark Deaver are registered Democrats. So that explains their Marxist philosophies and all that they're doing to subvert. Listen, Tim Keller and Mark Deaver are apostates. So is John Piper and many other names that I could list right now. They're all leading this Luciferian, satanic, Marxist incursion into the church. They're actually enemies in the church. If you're supporting those ministries, stop it. Stop supporting the destruction of the church. U.S. Marshals rescue 27 more children. I love this article and what it had to say. Why isn't this news every place, folks? Why isn't this news every place? Do you know why it's not news? Because the pedophiles and the perverts involved are all favored groups by the U.S. media. I'm talking about Hollywood celebrities, the Dem politicians, corporate executives. Have you wondered why so many corporations give billions to satanic groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa? Well, they do that because they're compromised. They've all got control files showing the evidence of their perversions. But Kathy, that article, if you'll throw that back up there for just a second, I want to point out, so scroll down. It gives a long list in the body of this article of rescue operations in several different states and the number of children that have been freed. So look at that. In September, how many does it say there? 35? Then another in September? We're talking dozens and dozens, hundreds now, in fact. 440 children so far. Why isn't this news everywhere? Well, you know why? Because the Marxist Democrats and their handlers don't want this to be news. They're only interested in whatever skeletons or dirt they can dig up on Trump. They're not interested in anything that benefits children. They're interested in covering for their pedophile masters. That's what they're interested in. And it's disgusting and it's wicked. And that's why it's incumbent upon you and me to continue to elevate this news, continue to put this news out there and show people there's good thing. There are good things being done. You're not going to hear about it in the mainstream media because they are completely compromised. Completely. I came across this today. I don't know if you can bring this up or not, Kathy. The Marxist Antifa Black Lives Matter playbook. This might not show. It was actually a Google Docs that I found, which gives the details for what they're planning. So they see the Trump administration as somehow illegitimate, and they give plans here for the disruption of 2020, the disruption of the free election and the results they do not want to receive or accept. And they have said this from the beginning. They've talked key words, key phrases, all coming out of their mouths. If you've been paying attention, then you've heard it. And this is the playbook. This is what they're planning on doing. So, folks, there's a reason why. There is a reason why you should be prepared in every possible way that you can. And one of those ways to be prepared, friends, is by having the right information. You know, too many American citizens are given into despair, to worry, to depression. And the biggest reason that I've been able to identify is because they don't have any knowledge or information of what's going on. They're relying on the mainstream media. Folks, what the mainstream media gives you today is poison. It is a complete obfuscation of the truth. They don't want you to know. The truth will set you free. Jesus said that. The truth is a person. But the truth is also propositional. We can know it, and when we know the truth, it gives us the opportunity, it gives us the capacity, it gives us the ability to then respond in the correct manner. And that's why it's important that you do your research. Listen, here's what I know. If Hollywood, if the abortion industry, if the mainstream media, if the entertainment industry, if the music industry, if they're all against Trump, do you really want to be on their side? Because I can tell you something. They're not against Trump for any pure, godly, righteous, moral reason. They're against Trump because he's disrupting their world. They want to enslave us all, friends. So the question is, are you going to let them? Or are you going to do something about it? I'm disposed to action. I say we rise up and we do something about it. If you're interested in information on what you can do where you live, I am happy to provide that information for you. You can email me, Pastor Mike at cclohio.org, Pastor Mike at cclohio.org, and I'd be happy to send that. But folks, go check out Tactical Civics. That's a good place to start. America, again, that is a good place to start. There are other things that you can do, and I'm happy to share that information with you. Folks, we appreciate very much your support of this program. I could call you out by name and tell you thank you, but you already know who you are. One of the ways that you can support this ministry is by purchasing the books that are available. If you want to understand what's happening in America today, you need the book Upside Down in America. I was talking to Mike Lake the other day, and we actually did a conversation about this book. And he said, Mike, you're a prolific writer, but you're short on promotion. So I'm not good at promoting my work, but God is. So he'll make it happen if he wants it to happen. Here's a book to help you understand what's going on. Upside Down in America. This is the most recent book. It's a devotional day by day. You can get that. And folks, if you want a signed copy, just email me. I'm happy to send that to you. Here's one that is really being well received. Traveling the Road Together, Remembering God's Promises in Difficult Times. And then this one just came out. I contributed a chapter to this and trying to get it back where you can see it. So Church and State, How the Left Used the Church to Destroy America. My chapter was on the leftists who still refer to themselves as evangelicals, but they're really Marxists, how they've used the government and how government has become an idol for them. And last but not least, my latest commentaries, over 500 pages on Psalms chapters 121 through 150. And after long wait, Matthew chapter 10 through 18, over 450 pages of commentary on those chapters are available. You can email me, Pastor Mike at CCL Ohio. Lots of other books out there available. if you're interested. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. Those are appreciated. Thank you for participating in the chats and the conversations on all the social media platforms that this is on. Please share it with your friends. Folks, God bless you. Love you all. Remember, renewing our minds, it's not an option, it's a command. See you next time.